All right. Good morning, everyone. Hope you can hear me. And let me know if at any time, so there's some construction going on in the back that I showed up to today. So let me know if at any time it gets too loud out there, but hopefully the mic should just pick up the voice. Well, anyways, welcome back to our, I think, 8th episode now of Powered by ZeroX. So super excited to have you guys join us today. So for those of you who haven't watched an episode before, so this is a developer-focused live stream where we explore features of the ZeroX ecosystem and interview developers who are building innovative projects on the ZeroX tech stack. And so whether you're building novel financial tools, integrating swaps into your app, or simply looking for a better understanding of the ZeroX protocol, API, and governance structure, well, the Powered by ZeroX live stream has something for you. So the way the show runs is we start off with some announcements, and then I'll bring our guest for the day, oops, there's some loud banging outside. We'll bring our guest on, so Alex from Zerion today, and do a live interview with him. And so then during that time, if you have questions about what we're discussing, please drop your questions into the chat. So whether you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, we can see your comments. And so we'd be happy to answer those questions there. And then, yeah, that's for the show. So I guess I will get started with the announcements for today. So first off, I can't, I guess, go without saying happy Merge Day. So right before the show, Alex and I were just chatting about, I feel like it just happened. So hopefully things are running smoothly, but doesn't seem to be any buzz about any negative buzz. So hopefully things have gone smoothly. I guess leading up to it, just the interesting memes that have come out of it have been probably the most amusing thing so far. So aside from that, the other two announcements that I want to call out are, let's see, bring up the screen. All right, so let me know if you can't see this, but essentially our ZeroX DAO has offered some grants. So a couple episodes ago, I was sharing that the ZeroX DAO has a grant program going on for projects that are building on the ZeroX protocol, using or contributing to the NFT swap SDK, or integrating NFT features into their projects, and specifically those who are building on Polygon or Optimism. And we have an awesome number of teams that were funded. So shout out to Acilia, Unistory, Prism, NFT Floor Price, Blockchainer, Wake Up Labs, and Swapbox XYZ. So highly recommend you take a look through this Twitter thread. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's links to this thread down below. And if you are a project that's building or you have an idea that could fit into these criterias, please check out the grant program. So it's still running. So take a look through the criterias, and you can apply for anywhere between 5 to 10K. And yeah, there's some good support in being part of this group. So check out the grant program there. And then next up is Zero Expo. So Zero Expo is, let's see, it's ZeroX's kind of main event of the year. So it's happening on November 3rd, and that is during SF Blockchain Week. So for those who are going to be in town for SF Blockchain Week, please do come swing by Zero Expo. It's a free event. Sorry, I'm just trying to talk a little bit louder because the construction is getting closer and closer. Okay, so Zero Expo is happening November 3rd. It's actually the day right before ETH SF. So for those who are going to be in town for ETH SF, yeah, just stop in a day earlier. Click I want to attend here. You can check out the Eventbrite posting with the schedule that will be out soon. And yeah, would love to see you here. And for those of you watching, if you're going to be in town for ETH SF, maybe just drop an ETH SF in the comments. Yeah, would love to see who's going to be around for that. So I guess with that should wrap up the announcements. So let me take that off screen. Okay, so sorry, man, I'm so sorry about the construction. So let me just let's just get started then with the interview for today. So we have a super awesome guest, Alex Guy from Zerion, head of marketing, growth and marketing. And so the team at Zerion, for those might be newer to the project, Zerion is building a multi-chain wallet experience with swaps that are powered by ZeroX API. And in addition to the swaps, we'll be discussing a number of the really interesting features that make Zerion just a truly multi-chain and social Web3 experience. So with that, let me bring Alex on screen. Hey, Alex.
Hi, Jessica. How you doing?
Good. Happy Merge Day again.
Yeah, happy merge. It's a big day, I think, for everybody in the community. For anybody tuning in, I'm not sure I can top the excitement of the merge itself, but I'll give it a go. So thanks for having me. Really, really happy to be here.
Yeah, no, this is I think it's a nice I guess nice day to have the talk.
At the very least, everybody's going to be super happy. It's
true.
definitely better than if this happened on the day when there was like a really significant market dip or something.
Yeah,
a big hack or something like
that's
that.
a good point.
So at the very least, like people will be optimistic when they're listening to this.
Yes, good vibes. Cool. With that, maybe I just want to kind of get started with like who you are, kind of intro yourself. Maybe can give us a quick introduction of yourself, and then how you got into the space.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Alex. As Jessica said, I'm head of marketing and growth at Zerion. I've been at Zerion for about a year. So I think I joked with Jessica before that makes me some sort of like veteran at this point in the space. Sometimes I hear people say like, "Oh yeah, like this project's really old. It's been going for like 6 months," and I'm like, "Oh man, geez, this is definitely not like some previous industries I've worked in." But despite like really being excited and sort of fully committed into the Web3 space and just like Ethereum community overall. My background is very much in like Web 2, kind of world, the Web 2 kind of world. So I've worked across a number of different industries, from AI to marketplaces, everything in between. I've sort of run like the startup gauntlet from everywhere from like running out of money like at the earliest stages to like ultimately to exits into the projects I've worked on before. So like I kind of have like I'd definitely say I'm like I think the Gen Z kids are saying born in the late 1900s now to refer to us olds. So like I'm definitely somebody who has a pretty deep experience in growing startups and growing different projects. And so like for me, I just from that perspective, I don't know if there's any field that's more exciting than Web3 to be working in from the growth side. So that's kind of how I got here. Well, actually, no, that's like my background, but how I got in, I don't know, maybe it's useful to talk a little bit about like my rabbit hole kind of moment. I think that like, maybe this is such a cliche that it's not worth even discussing, but like for me, as a sort of observer of Web3 and crypto for quite a while, I kind of like wrongly for way too long viewed it as sort of like a genre of like fintech or some like cousin to like AI or some other like sort of buzzwordy kind of industry. And that naivete, unfortunately, sort of obscured for me like how amazing and incredible the space is and was for quite a long time. But what really like kind of pushed me over the edge was I have kind of like a collector's mindset, and so like NFTs as a notion, like digital ownership, like really clicked for me. But I also have a very deep and nerdy passion for like sports and like sports card collecting. So there's this French startup called Sorare that basically does like fantasy football plus like NFTs. So the main principle is pretty simple. I think you assemble a team of like NFT cards. Those cards then compete against people from all over the world, and you earn prizes. And so like I found out about this, got really excited. When you buy the cards, even if you don't have any ETH, they make the on-ramping process really, really simple. So actually, if you don't really care about all that stuff, you don't necessarily have to dive into this. But I started, they have the Etherscan address for all your cards listed, when you can view them online. And so I clicked on that a few times and was like, oh, okay. And like from there, it just kind of like swirled. I have a close friend who works at Ledger. We started talking essentially all the time about this. And it was just like, I think for many people, it was just sort of this like itch that wouldn't go away, and I just couldn't stop learning. And so now it's been, I guess that was like almost 3 years ago when that whole process started, but it's been now, a decent amount of time for me in the space, and happy to say like still want to learn, still want to find out about as many projects as possible. So definitely still feel committed and excited by everything going on here.
Yeah, I think to your point about like finding a project that you have an interest in, like some door that is like makes the technology make sense.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah.
Just think it's so cool because there's just so many different entry points. Like there's no one way that like, I really feel like that's the reason why I like to ask about people's like how they got here, because like everybody's going to have a different or slightly different flavor to that, or maybe it's a different touch point. Maybe immediately they were excited by it when they heard about Ethereum or something like that, or maybe it took them a little bit of time like me. But I think that everybody's story is slightly unique and slightly different, and I think it's because there's so many different entry points. So mine was sports and NFTs.
Slight tangent, but it kind of reminds me of, there's this project that, sorry, I keep getting distracted by the sound. There's this project that one of our community members, he's part of a project called DexKit, but essentially it's actually, as opposed to fantasy sports, it's like fantasy crypto. So pick coin tokens that you think will do well, and use that kind of to create your fantasy league. So
that's cool.
Another avenue.
Hey, I'm sure somebody's gotten excited by that and is now like, that's the way that they got here and came into the space.
Yeah. Well, then maybe let's take a look at the Zerion origin story. So you said you joined a year ago, but yeah, like where did it start?
Right.
How did it start?
So Zerion is actually, I think, in the DeFi space, one of the more well-known and like longest surviving projects. The founders, 3 founders actually built the product or started building the original product back in 2016, late 2016, early 2017. And basically their vision from the very beginning, although it's shifted a little bit in terms of definition, how we define things, was they basically wanted to empower people in this space, people who we now consider citizens of Web3, with like super user-friendly and intelligent products that allowed them to like take more control and understand what was happening in this sort of, especially back then, diverse and very, very complicated space to understand at times. And so from the original idea, they wanted to build this dashboard to help people track their DeFi investments. So any different protocol you were a part of, any different community, any tokens you owned, et cetera, you'd be able to see them all in one single pane of glass. And that was kind of like the original product. And it's sort of, to this day, this portfolio tracking piece is a core product for us. It's a core piece of functionality, and one of the things that I think we do quite well. But once we sort of like, once that kind of ran its course, or once we started we quickly, I think, reached like the right way to say it is like, we quickly reached like we want to do other stuff now. We don't just want to have people able to track their portfolios. We also want people to be able to do swaps. So I guess like the first main use case, and this is where we came into the 0x family. Basically, Zerion integrates a number of different DEXs, but basically we scan a bunch of different quoting services to offer the best rate every time. 0x is one of those providers, and we're a very, very happy partner. It's been a good relationship so far. But so basically, like that was in 2019. We started adding like trading functionality effectively within the product. We started around 47. I think that year we did something like $47 million in total trading volume, but actually we just crossed over $1.5 billion in trading volume. So it's been a successful product for us. We're really excited, and actually you can see on many different 0x like data sites like what the trading volume is through Zerion and things like that if anybody's interested. So there's a number of different resources out there. But even there, in this idea of empowering people to sort of get more out of the experience in the Web3 space, and through intelligence, really easy to use products, and things that like actually give people insights, I guess, into what their portfolio looks like, their footprint. We started talking mid last year about the idea of launching our own wallet, and I guess to take just a quick step back, the way someone used to and currently still can use Zerion is to basically connect their existing wallet, whether it's MetaMask, Ledger, whatever, to Zerion. And then all of their portfolio is viewed, visible to them in one single pane of glass, as I said. And what we kind of realized was that that's great, and there's plenty of people that like to do that, but also as this like landscape in Web3 gets more and more complex, and there's more and more ways for people to like sort of interact or engage as there are more and more entry points, as we talked about earlier, into this space, and more ways that people can get exposure to different things and projects, games, etc. Sort of existing wallets kind of have a problem, and I think that problem is that they don't do a very good job of like giving you everything. So they're very like, oh, there's like a limitation here, or there's something you have to do manually here that's a little bit hard to understand, or they don't cover this asset, or they don't cover that chain, and on down the list. And as the sort of DApp landscape, as the whole Web3 ecosystem becomes more diverse in terms of which chains are doing what, this challenge becomes more and more complex. And it was our belief that existing wallets didn't do a very good job of catering to this complexity. And so from there, we started trying to build a multi-chain wallet that it was available across every device. This is another problem, is that functionality from your the web apps are not exactly the same to mobile apps. They often are different, or they don't offer the same kind of functionality. We wanted to create a shared experience across all of these different devices, or any device somebody has. And so in May, we actually, I don't want to say we launched a wallet, because technically we did, but we sort of evolved into a wallet. So actually end of May, so really more like beginning of June. We evolved into this wallet. You can download the Zerion app and create your wallet on Android and iOS. We are in the process of building an extension that's coming quite soon as well, which will sort of complete the story, I think, a bit. But the general idea was we wanted to create a wallet that sort of created the best experience for like these native Web3 natives, by leveraging really, really advanced blockchain data and blockchain insights, and creating a really amazing user experience. I think that we certainly believe that UX and like all the different flavors of what that could mean are like places where wallets currently don't do a great job of either. I think that one of the reasons is that wallets, as they were originally conceived, were sort of this like static place where you just like stored stuff. And so like, sure, every time you needed to like go and access it, you could go and do that, but it was very clunky, very sort of, you just needed to know the right path to go through. And I think like as the map, so to speak, to continue the analogy, gets more complex, you need like a really good guide. You don't need just this like, so step one, kind of tutorial. You need like a really intuitive, easy to use, trustable guide. And so that's what we're working to build at Zerion.
Well, yeah, that narrative definitely makes sense. Like the evolution of not just like seeing the essentially seeing the use cases as the use cases around things evolve, but they expand as well. And then also, there's just like you mentioned, like more and more entry points into it. I want to ask about the extensions. Does that mean like it enables developers to build more, build to engage more with the Zerion wallet, or is this something different?
So I'm not totally the right person to go into the
sorry.
details of this.
Yeah.
But our aim is to be as open and accessible as possible. And so like we definitely want to create an experience that is what I'd say is like approachable and something that developers can benefit from. I don't. We're. This is still in the works, and I'm not even sure on a release date. I wish I could tell you all a release date. I wish I knew the release date, but it's in our plans, and our long term vision is to make something accessible and approachable. So I think it's that's I think is as much detail as I can give. Although our head of product might be, you can probably reach him on Twitter if you want to reach him. He can maybe answer your question. Sorry, Andre.
So everyone ping Andre.
Yeah, everybody ping him right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I guess definitely stay on top of it, following Zerion's Twitter, probably their maybe your blog. We can share some of that down the line. Well, I was wondering, do you want to do a live demo, like kind of a tour of all the functionality right now?
Sure, I can do a web app demo for sure.
Yeah,
Let me try to share my screen. So first of all, the web app functionality that you're going to see is sort of like with a MetaMask wallet connected to Zerion. So it's not our own Zerion wallet. That's a little bit harder to demo on web, unfortunately. So this is like the sort of portfolio tracking and trading experience that we talked about versus the entirety of Brave tab. Hold on here. Here we go. Right. So now you sort of when you connect your wallet with Zerion, you will basically see something like this immediately. And so from the first time you connect your wallet, whether it's MetaMask, as we say, or any other wallet, you will be able to see sort of your performance, which assets you hold, which wallet, what kind of staking opportunities and other kinds of positions you might have. So you basically see like in one view from the token side, all of your performance over time. There's two sort of innovative things that the team has built, and they've been available for some time if we have long-time Zerion users there. This would be the chart here, which is dynamically created and really, really, really difficult to code. It was definitely a significant thing here. So like you can track this over real time for different assets. Like if I look at Ethereum, you can actually see like when transactions were made as well. So like you can see transactions on the chart normally. So I haven't made any in the last day, but you can see like where I made different trades. So you can see I timed this one very, very well for a major dip, but you can definitely see the transactions over time, which is a nice feature and something that I think is unique to us. The other thing that I think makes Zerion stand out is our history tab. So this is like very, very, very cool and super real time in terms of the notifications that you get. I'm sure that many of us on this call have experienced the stress that can come from basically doing something, making a trade, making a swap, buying an NFT, whatever, sending something to a different wallet from one wallet to another, and sort of that wait to see essentially what happens. Zerion has for quite some time, one of the features that our users love the most is basically the ability to see this kind of notification in real time. And as I have the mobile app downloaded as well, I'd get that on my phone. So get the push notification on my phone when it occurred, and I'm telling you, it saved a decent amount of stress for me over the years. We also, as I mentioned, are multi-chain. So we support 11 networks currently. This portfolio in the wallet has a few of them, but you're able to just like switch back and forth really, really easily. One of the things that like I find sort of a pain about a lot of multi-chain products is like they make you constantly sign the transaction when you change back and forth between network. And it's a small thing, but the fact that we don't do that until you actually go and want to buy something or sign a transaction itself is, I think, like just really nice user experience problem that we've tried to solve, which is basically like, look, if people are just scrolling around and looking at their portfolio, they don't necessarily want to sign the transaction every time. And so we've tried to make that just a smoother experience until someone actually is ready to be active in the space. The other thing that you can see when you connect your wallet are your NFTs themselves. So you get your token view as well, but you also get this NFT view. You can have a number of different filters. You can different filters in terms of that way. You can see them by collection to make it a little easier if you have a pretty diverse NFT collection. So you have a pretty broad range of things that you can see about your different NFTs. If we go into like, for example, the Zerion Genesis NFT, you are able to see the different attributes. So you can see obviously like the how much the price or last price was, how much profit you've made. And in this case, it looks like there's a little red one, so I haven't done anything there. But the cool thing is that you get a little bit of a true view of all these different attributes, about your different NFTs. So you can see them, and I think in a really nice, really nicely presented kind of way. Zerion DNA NFT is something really interesting, by the way, I should say, as just a little bit of a plug. When you create your Zerion wallet, you can mint for free, minus the gas fee. You can mint what's called the Zerion DNA NFT, and this is a living or generative NFT that we've built that basically has all these different attributes that are ranked, like sort of organized based on the wallet that holds them. So all of these attributes combine and change the appearance of the NFT. So the more transactions you make, the more gas you spend, the longer you hold the NFT, the more networks you use. All of these different attributes will change the way that your NFT looks over time. And so actually that's something pretty unique to Zerion, and I think a really exciting bit of innovation that we added to the wallet when it was made.
Is it the same NFT every
No.
change? Okay, so
sorry. Wait. No. The NFT is the same. It literally the only thing that changes are the attributes around the NFT itself. So if I were to make 10 trades today, all of a sudden I would see, well, maybe not all of a sudden, we can give it some time, but gradually you'd be able to see a different appearance, like the NFT's appearance would change. So it's just a piece of, I think, a really, really exciting piece of innovation. We're looking at a number of ways to build off of that, like potentially adding other custom attributes. Maybe we could link it to like conference attendance, for example. So like if you met Zerion at a particular conference, maybe there would be a way to like add or create like a new unique aspect to your NFT. So we've been playing around with that for quite a while, and I think we're just scratching the surface with it, but it is something quite unique to Zerion. One of the other things I just wanted to hit on before we move on is, so these are my wallets. You can see them there, but I also have these watch lists. So these are all other people's wallets that I watch, and then I'm also notified or can be notified. You can set your notification preferences as you want, but I can actually go in and like look at someone like, where's our CEO's wallet? Okay, so we'll just look at this person's wallet. So basically, I can then go and see, like, if we can imagine that, this is some, I don't know if it is, but this is some crypto influencer, somebody who you really trust in the space, maybe a friend of yours or a founder of a famous project or something like that. You can actually go in and see all the different things they may be buying, what NFTs they might hold and things like that, which also could give you a clue as to maybe what types of actions and trades to make on your own. I mentioned you can set your notification preferences, so you can actually like say like, I want to be notified when this person makes a trade, or I want to be notified when this person does something, and that way then you can act in real time. I think this actually gets to something that's really core to what we're trying to do at TN is we don't. Wallets, as I said, aren't these like static places where you store things anymore. They actually are dynamic places where you want to actually be engaged and active. And so we're not really building this wallet, I don't think, for somebody who's not actively engaged in like the ecosystem, however we define that. That could be NFTs, it could be DAOs, it could be DeFi investing, it could be traders, it could be NFT flippers. There's a number of different ways that somebody could be engaged, but I think our vision is really that like wallets need to adapt to accommodate a number of different use cases. They need to be able to encapsulate a number of different chains. They need to encapsulate gaming and governance and things like DAO governance and things like that. And current tools aren't really built for that type of complexity. And so some of this stuff that we've touched on here is definitely like starting to move in that direction, really heading in that space. A good example is, if I go into our Explore tab here, you can see top gainers, top losers, different liquidity pools you can be a part of, trending NFT collections by volume. We just launched this today, actually, or just released this today, is like different staked ETH options that you can get involved in based on the merge itself. And so what we really try to do is create an experience where people can be really active inside their wallet. That's kind of like, I guess, a uniting factor. And beyond that, there's this sort of overarching theme of like really great UX, simple UX, easy to use UX, and trying to combine different data sources, which is another strength of ours. So yeah, that's the Zerion web app.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of like a very quality Swiss Army knife. Like you get the information, like you get the information, but then you can also act on it within the app, right? Like you get the notification. I think that notification part and getting able to follow like different wallets, I think it's pretty cool. Just within that same app, and then you can look at the price history of this project or of the token and make decisions without having to like jump from one platform to another, and then like maybe at some point there's always like the more moves you make, it's like the more possibility of like making, I don't know, some mistake in the middle of swapping back and forth between like one wallet to like another platform. So I think just having it all in-house is nice feature.
You're just touching on like this is something that like I think there's sort of a belief that like as you learn more about the space, the more involved and invested you get in the space. I mean, emotionally, not necessarily financially, but like the more embedded, maybe is a better word, you get into this space. You start to like be able to learn how to protect yourself. You start to be sort of resistant to a lot of the scams that like newbies or like new people to the space fall for. And I think you see like time and time again that that's not really the case. People sign transactions from malicious smart contracts all the time because they're moving really fast. So they're trying to work really quickly. They send things, on the wrong chain to the wrong wallet and then lose money for forever. This is like a very common use case that we've heard about a bunch of times. And I think that although, these are on our roadmap, these types of security features, I think they fall into the like bucket or the broad umbrella of like UX problems, because a lot of them are UX problems. Like a lot of them are like, we're just not presenting people with the right information at the right moment. We're not, warning them appropriately. We're not flagging things appropriately. And we've been like sort of heading down this road for quite a long time. We have this notion of like trusted tokens in the Zerion app, both mobile and web. If you like go to a token and it's not listed in at least 3 coin lists, like online, like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, whatever. If it's not listed there, it'll basically have a flag that's like, hey, just FYI, we can't verify this token is like real. We don't know anything about it. Like, so if you proceed, you're doing so at your own risk. And this is the point of that is to try to add a little bit of trust, a little bit more knowledge, not just for new people, but for advanced people who tend to be like, I need to move quickly. These are like time limited, they're like time limited opportunities here. We need to be able to act quickly. At the same time, acting quickly often is what gets people into trouble or makes them do something that they didn't mean to. And that's not them being ignorant. That's on the builders in the space, we believe that's on the builders in the space not doing enough to help people protect themselves and sign transactions in a trustworthy kind of way.
And then just, I guess, want to hammer in the fact that Zerion's a non-custodial wallet, right? So meaning like the funds stay in the user's wallets until the time like the transaction happens, and then it comes back. So yeah, just with like recent things that have happened, just like being aware that keep your funds in your wallet.
Yeah, we've also like, this isn't even like exclusive to Zerion. Like we've been close partner with Ledger for quite some time, and we understand that there are multiple ways that people want to like help protect themselves, and like we fully believe in like self-custodial like kind of setup, and like people taking control for themselves, and be your own bank, and all these other cliches that have been around in the space for a while. And so like we recognize that we have a part to play, but we don't think that we're the only the only thing that can help protect people. We're very happy to work with a partner like Ledger to make that possible.
Yep, totally fair. Let's see. So maybe I'll take a pause here, and yeah, for anyone who's watching, if you have any questions, or if you use Zerion And yeah, if you use Zerion, maybe give a shout out in the chat. Yeah, happy to see who out there is coming in curious to learn about the project versus like a long-time user. Let's see. Just looking through if there's any feature that we haven't covered yet. So we talked about swaps, tracking across all like the 11 different networks, multi-chain NFT support. Let's see. Insights into the product. Let's see. Yeah, I feel like that was like just kind of wrapped up nicely. Let's see. Yeah, was there anything we haven't talked about yet that you want to highlight?
I can talk a little bit about our roadmap coming up.
Okay.
On some, I mean, I mentioned the extension earlier. That's a pretty big one for us. Another thing that I think is really exciting is multi-chain NFTs. So we're present, tracking on 10 plus networks now. Currently, some the major ones that the 0x community will be very familiar with. But actually, this is like another problem that a lot of wallets have, is that like, even if they can handle multi-chain tokens, multi-chain NFTs are something that's still a little bit remote in terms of how you can even see. I mean, something as simple and as ubiquitous as like POAPs. We talked about that the other day, Jessica. Like, a lot of currently this isn't the case on Zerion actually, but soon, POAP holders will be able to see their POAPs alongside their Ethereum-based NFTs. It's a big shift for us, and I think it's also about like, this completeness you mentioned, you were talking about. This is the fact that there'd be everything all in one place. Zerion users can track and trade across, 500 plus networks, or 500 plus protocols, excuse me, 10 plus networks currently, but the NFT piece is like still Ethereum only for the moment. Like, we really think that, completing that story with multi-chain NFTs is something that I think is really, really exciting coming up. We also are looking into the possibility of doing some like buying NFTs, potentially using 0x's API. I can't get into too many details because there aren't any yet, but the idea of like, I mentioned, like, we're really trying to go down this route of like allowing people to do things within the wallet. We really think that like the wallet, because it has all your stuff. I'm apologies if anybody knows who actually tweeted this. I can't remember, but someone was talking not too long ago about wallets actually becoming this like sort of like, Hermione Granger's backpack for all the Harry Potter fans out there, or her little bag, where you can just like reach in and get anything you want at any time. Like, you've got it all there at your fingertips. And I think that that's kind of the vision that we have for Zerion, and what the wallet should be. Like, you should be able to act on insights. You should be able to act on data. You should be able to act on impulse, but like, you should be able to do it safely within one place. And so like, we're trying to sort of move in that direction, in as many ways as possible. So like, definitely on the NFT side, there's a lot coming that people could be excited by, should be excited by. We're definitely excited by. We also really are committed, I think, to one of the things that, like, I think, especially for experienced people, like, the idea of alpha is in general something that is sort of like almost like a cliche or overused term in the space. It's like a nebulous concept that like everyone immediately understands, but there's not a lot of like really good ways to get alpha. I guess if you have a personal network, or you happen to be really, really, really in the space as an influencer, sure, you can get alpha. If you're using Nansen and you're like a pro trader and like really, really, really quantitative in your thinking, you can probably get some alpha. But we really think that like all people who are like active citizens in Web3 should be able to get that same kind of alpha and benefit from that kind of alpha. So we're looking into doing a number of different things to make like, curating your own lists of wallets that are like really trustable and people you think have great ideas or are committed and interested and excited by things that, you are interested by, should be functionality you have. There's a number of different ways we want to provide alpha and make alpha easier for our users to, for really, really active Web3 citizens to be able to benefit from, even if they're not quants or like influencers or something like that. So the alpha piece is definitely something we're still defining it. I can't go into too many details, unfortunately, but like, that's definitely an area of focus for us going forward.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you could share anything, just like what information could be revealed for someone to still, well, for a user to find wallets of interest, but then still keep those wallets anonymous.
Yeah, I like that. I like that concept. I mean, like these don't necessarily need to be like, well, again, this is very conceptual. This isn't like, something I can demo or even get to like see a preview myself. But like, the notion to me that I think is exciting is like, it's like, okay, let's imagine you're like really into, I don't know, like you're really into like the CryptoCoven, like one of the original awesome PFP projects to come out in the last year or so. And you think that there's probably a lot of people, other holders of CryptoCoven, who probably hold other stuff. So you start doing your own research. You can easily find information about holders who holds CryptoCoven. You could do that on Zerion, or you can do that other places. And you basically start to develop this list of like, okay, these are CryptoCoven holders. And you start to realize like, oh, CryptoCoven holders also have these collections, or they also have these tokens, or things like that. And you don't need to know that like 0x blah, 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 is Jessica or Alex. You just need to know like, this is a CryptoCoven holder who has some interesting assets that I want to pay attention to. And so like the ability to like build that list yourself easily, intuitively, quickly, is something that right now is pretty hard to do. And so we think that that's kind of the functionality that you would want to do if you were somebody who's trying to get more involved in the space, who's trying to look for insights and uncover, opportunities for themselves, trying to find the next big NFT project. And then, if you combine that list mentality with our, push notifications kind of thing, oh, somebody in your list did X, that's the kind of thing that I think we're going to start trying to see, or we're going to see in the Zerion app going forward. I don't know when, don't know how, don't even know if that use case is one that's going to definitely be there, but it's the type of thinking that we're trying to challenge ourselves with internally. Is like, what would it look like if somebody could do that really easily within their wallet? So you start to then create this picture where it's like, not only do I have this portfolio tracking that really is exceptional and super intuitive, track all my wallets, we can create this almost like, I mean, you saw it a little bit, but like this almost like nested view of all your wallets. So you can get like an entire portfolio view, which is pretty neat. So you've got the complete portfolio tracking. I've got, trading functionality with the best rates across 10 chains and counting. Also have all my NFTs, also have multi-chain NFTs. And then you start to be able to add this type of insight in alpha creation or alpha building, alpha data. Not a product name, alpha data there. But you start to build all that, and it starts to become a really complete picture. And the fact that you could do that potentially most of, if not all of that, from your phone, that would then carry over to web app, and vice versa. Like this is like, I think I'm biased, obviously, but I think this is a pretty powerful, compelling message.
I mean, given the usage of Zerion, I think a lot of users would also agree. So
we hope so.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely excited to see like more of the insights portion built into these projects. Like earlier last year, when I guess NFTs were really booming, I was working on a hackathon project that was kind of looking at this sort of functionality. So yeah, I have some running thoughts in here, but that was more of like the high level, like looking at the price of certain projects. But then I was thinking like, oh, would you want to feature, like the creators, like the creators of the projects, and like what their interests are, as a way to like be more transparent about who the project creators are, and their history, their like track history in these projects. Like, do they just hold and release
it? Flip.
I don't know.
Is this some kind of rug pull?
Yeah, maybe this is getting a little bit too into the weeds, but
I will say I think we're pretty committed to like the privacy piece of all of this, and I think that you can currently on Zerion, you can add and track wallets of other people by using their ENS, their ENS addresses that you may know, or their 0x, the full wallet address. You can do either. We're adding some other services soon that should be pretty exciting in terms of like addresses and domains and things like that. So we sort of want to, at the user level, I think, have a pretty like, okay, like what is somebody comfortable sharing? Like if you're at use, I think I demoed there. Anybody can find me on ENS, alexanderguy.eth, like you can find me. And I'm comfortable with that. If there are people who want to protect their anonymity, and there's certainly NFT projects and creators that are like that, I think that, we definitely don't want to necessarily have like, people doxing or anything like that. It's much more about, I think for us, like about like giving like people who are active in the space, active Web3 citizens, the ability to like benefit from the insights and knowledge that someone who may be more connected or more knowledgeable has, someone who they trust. So like this idea of building like your own like sphere of influence, your own investment like gurus or investment advisors, something like that. To help you make good decisions, to help you find good projects, to help make sure like the real projects rise to the top. So we don't have some scam. Like these are all things that we're really committed to. But I just in general think the idea of like empowering people to like be self-custodial humans a bit, and like take control of this for themselves, and like build their own trustable network within your wallet. That's what I think is really compelling here. It's like there are services that people use to do many of these kinds of things. Maybe not in the complete way that we're describing, but some of these things exist. What it doesn't exist is the fact that this could all take place within one place, with a self-custodial tool where you maintain key ownership and we have no desire to be custodians. The fact that this all can occur in one place is in that one place being your wallet. First of all, I truly believe that that's what a wallet should be. It makes sense that would be under your control where you would do all this stuff, but also that like the fact that is a complete story, is kind of I think that like what we're really trying to build with Zerion and the wallet.
Well, I think that's a great way to wrap up the show. I think I would summarize like the thought process and kind of the project ethos overall. Yeah. I guess maybe, do you want to shout out any places that do you want to shout out places to follow? Sorry, I just saw a guest posted that they're joining from
Memphis. Welcome. I should have said I'm in Paris. I'm American. I'm from Maryland originally. Omnionics, I think. But I'm based in Paris now, so Central European time. So it's getting to the end of the day here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
thanks for not a big deal, but
Well, yeah, I'm over in San Francisco, amongst the construction going on. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Onyx. No worries being late. Okay, you can always rewatch the stream afterwards. But I guess Alex, just where were we? Thanks again for jumping on the show. It was really fun just getting to meet you and like learn, like dig into your brain about like thinking about wallets and like the future of wallets, and then just essentially like think of the possibilities of like where we are and what is capable with this kind of simple but also very complex thing that we interact with quite often. Sure. I guess last thing, do you have any shout outs, handles, places people can find you, places to learn more about the project?
Sure. So first of all, we're very active on Twitter as Zerion. So it's at Zerion_IO, just right there at the bottom of the screen. And if you want to talk to me specifically, it's just at AlexanderGuy19. Surprisingly, at AlexanderGuy was taken when I wanted to create this handle. So there's the 19. But also you can head to Zerion.io or app.zerion.io to get started and connect your wallet and start using this awesome tool called Zerion. We'll really be happy to hear your feedback. We also have a really, really active Discord. I think we've got something like 30,000 members. We have a really exceptional support and success team, community team that spend a lot of time answering questions, engaging with our community members. So if you have specific questions, particularly if you have problems or technical questions or anything like that, the team will be really, really happy to talk to you there. And so you can join our Discord. It's on our website. It's actually zerion.io/discord. You can also just go to directly if you want to join it. But yeah, that'd be great. It's been a real pleasure, Jessica. Thanks so much to you and the ZeroX team for inviting me. Really, really happy to have joined.
Nice. Yeah, very happy to have you on. And then I guess we'll wrap up with Onionics. Goodbye. Yeah, just thanks for
Thank you.
Shout out from an audience.
Thanks for commenting.
Audience out there. So yeah, thanks for coming on, and really, yeah, happy to have you on. So hopefully you'll come back on when some new features come out with Zerion.
Happy to.
Yeah.
Happy to anytime.
Cool. Sounds good. And ciao for now, and we'll see you all hopefully next week. Oh, actually, yeah. Shout out then. We have an episode coming up next week, so keep an eye out for that. So again, we'll say goodbye for Alex, and